The most accurate version of Jekyll and Hyde is VeggieTales. Most adaptations are, quite frankly, not trying to adapt the book. That is simply not the goal in most versions. Instead, they're playing on the cultural concept of Jekyll and Hyde. But in the process, they changed the serum into this weird DID thing that's also a really stupid DID thing. I'm sorry, DID is already narratively interesting enough. You don't have to make it dumber and less interesting by doing the Jekyll and Hyde thing. And they remove the main character, Utterson, and they remove the genre of detective, almost murder mystery, and they remove the twist that Jekyll is Hyde, and in the process they just remove the entire freaking story of Utterson trying to figure out why Jekyll put Hyde in his will, and what they end up with is a piece of fanfiction of what might have happened from Jekyll's point of view, or what happened after the story, because if you don't do the twist, you don't have the story. And so most versions of Jekyll and Hyde remove the protagonist, the premise, and the plot! But The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Sly opens with a very strong statement. We are here to adapt the novel. And that's not some creator statement in an interview. No, the characters in universe start the movie by saying, our goal is to get kids to understand Robert Louis Stevenson's novel, and they succeed so hard. A lot of versions do the right idea of turning Hyde into Jekyll's mask that he uses so that he can go do whatever he wants without fear of societal consequences. That is more narratively interesting and more thematically interesting than the stupid DID thing. And this version does exactly that. In fact, they lean so hard into it that it's kind of the only change they make to the novel. That in this version, Mr. Sly is a literal mask. It's a disguise with a wig and glasses, and a lot of versions will modernize the story, which is a good take because it gives a way for Victorian societal expectations and Victorian repression, those themes, to become themes that are relevant to the modern day. But this version says, no, the story is about Victorian societal expectations and Victorian repression. Let's just set it in Victorian times. A lot of versions will turn Jekyll and Hyde into the protagonist. This had the good sense to realize, no, in the original novel, Jekyll is the damsel in distress. The story is about Utterson trying to save Jekyll. Let's just do that. This might be the only version to have Utterson in it at all. I don't know, I haven't watched every single version. My friend Troy is watching every single version, that's why I'm making this video. But it's definitely one of the only versions to make Utterson the protagonist. And it's definitely one of the only versions to have the entire plot be Utterson is trying to figure out why Jekyll is acting weird and who Hyde is. Really, the biggest change is what Jekyll wants to do when he becomes Hyde. In the book, Jekyll uses Hyde as an excuse to act on his basest instincts. In this version, he just wants to go dancing, and he's really embarrassed of his dancing, and so he wants an excuse to go dance without anyone making fun of him, and so he creates a persona that can dance for him, so that no one will make fun of him. They'll just be making fun of this fake version of him called Mr. Sly, and then it turns out that everyone actually really likes Mr. Sly's dancing. So if you've been wanting a book-accurate version of Jekyll and Hyde, this is the one. It's on YouTube. It is, frankly, not that Christian for a VeggieTales movie. Like, it has one Bible verse at the end like every VeggieTales movie does, but other than that, it is just straight up adapting this piece of classic literature to give a lesson in self-worth. That's all they're doing. It's great. Follow for more film talk.